stunt department laid out an awful lot of wire work in this one. So there's a lot of there's parachuting, there's flying to the sky because he's attached to a horse. There's spinning out, there's falling off a plane. There's underwater work, which is a lot of wire work again, underwater. What else is there? There's motorbike. The motorbike at the end. Yeah, oh my God. Then there's the dog fight. Yeah, there was quite a lot. And all of that was in Crocs or one cowboy boot or one shoe. And ultimately that's my, dear friend, Jacob Tamuri, the face planter of the family, who comes in and takes a massive beating.
And takes a beating on screen as well.
And I slap him in the face to thank him for all of his hard work. Yes. We wrote him a little scene where he pees on my feet and I slap him as hard as I possibly can in the face, and then we drag him across the floor on a big rope as his face goes to a stop, to thank him. Yeah. I've known Kelly since we were completely unemployed and desperate to work, desperate to show just an iota of some of the things that we felt we were capable of delivering when people were hungry and in line, and we were at the back of that line, and everybody wants to get involved and on, and it's a very difficult hustle to get onto the floor at all. Yeah. And we were friends since then. And we tried out pitching together. You were a writer in your own right. I was acting, and both working our way up, doing this kind of traditional steps, which takes however long it takes. And then because we were friends, we would always, whenever I was in a sticky situation with a film where I couldn't understand how to articulate a character in a way that was the way that I could deliver, and I needed help, Kelly would, depending on that film, how they felt, Kelly would be invited to come along and fix that situation because she knew what I was trying to say or deliver. And that would continue on. And then we ended up doing Bronson together, which Kelly wrote, and challenged me in a way that Nick could never challenge me, or with a character that was really important for me, because I thought that was kind of the end of my career at that point, because nothing was moving. I'd never got really a job in America as a lead or anything like that. And I was 30 and I really wanted to do something important. And the only person I know who could deliver on a level of material that I really, really wanted to challenge myself was Kelly. And the stuff that she wrote for that, the makeup designs, the creating, it was all hers, was the beginning of where we're at now, which is, for considering it's a PG-13, we're still in a very similar territory of playing using naturalism and quite like normal people, if you will, even though they're heightened in the superhero world, of a naturalism which is also stretches all the way around to super surrealism and fantasy, and that canvas that like Kelly has painted on so many times in the past. I can go through so many films that you wouldn't know that she was involved in with me. Finally, on Venom 1, 2, and 3, it was watching my friend, and she's successful in her own right already with Saving Mr. Banks, Terra Nova, all kinds of Changeling. She could come in and understand what it was that I wanted to achieve, deliver to the studio exactly what they wanted to see and hear and understand, so they could see it manifest as she developed and grew the characters from Venom 1 to Carnage, to what you see in The Last Dance. But to watch her go from writing, producing PGA, to PGA, producing, writing, and directing, and the third one was amazing and logical, but beautiful to see all of her ideas from the internal come out directly as she wanted them or saw them manifest. And I could be part of that. And this is her first film ever. So all the years she spent behind the camera since 20 years ago, more, now is manifest in this opulent, epic, like fun, surreal comedy and yet, I don't know, love story in some aspects, and, a human story, which is vivacious, bubbly, fun and epic and standalone within the world of superhero movies. That's all her. And, I think it's a really once in a lifetime thing to experience as a friend, the growth of your friend, stepping into shoes that are rightly hers. Venom is like a dog.
Yeah.
And we both understand that there's a saying that I like to play with, that you can't convince the dog that you're somebody else, because a dog will always know who you are. So if you're a really good actor, then you can convince your own dog you're somebody else. And that's impossible, because the dog will smell you come in. Right? Unless you're outside the window and you go, boo, and they go, ah. That's the only exposure window of fooling the dog, unless they're blind and can't smell that you're somebody else. So I always talk to my dog, and I sort of anthropomorphize the dog. And Kelly's had dogs, you know what I mean, too. And she understood the nature of the mission, and the aspect that Venom is a massive dog.
Yeah.
It's on the aspect so that he can be primal and can be loyal and loving like a dog.
I think they're going to see something really epic. It's very different to the first two movies. We've taken them out of San Francisco. You're going to get to see Venom in daylight for the first time. We're meeting a whole host of new characters, new symbiotes, new creatures, a very, very big bad villain. This one just feels much more epic and has a lot of scope.
It has a sense of self as well. I think it breathes in a way that it's allowing itself to be the exotic fruit that it is, as opposed to something that is conforming. It has its own legs and its own heart, and we've thoroughly enjoyed bringing it to the screen.
I think we both got it in the same way of getting it from Kelly, which I mean, kind of the best way to get it too. And I think I was quite surprised and also kind of overwhelmed that she would ask me to take a look at it and be a part of it and be a part of this, Last Dance journey, which was a big one for her, because it's one that she has been a part of telling the Venom stories from the beginning with Tom, and she was been writing on it and then producing it, and now she was directing the last one. So it's also another aspect of a real honor to be asked to be a part of. And I think, it's really obvious how much these movies mean to them, to both Tom and Kelly, and how much time they've spent creatively investing a lot of their kind of genuine friendship into Eddie and Venom on screen. And I think it really shows. And yeah, I was really honored to be asked to be a part of it.
Yeah, I felt the same way. Just a real privilege, and Kelly asking me to read it, and I thought that it's, I love the kind of Venom universe, just the whole Venom franchise, and that relationship between Eddie and Venom is so unique and so just sort of incredible to watch. And they're a lot of fun, the films, and they're fast paced, and they're, just really exhilarating and engaging, and so knowing, again, what Juno was saying, that this meant a lot to Kelly, and that there was such a emotional commitment and engagement with it, and just a really passionate fan base, that were really excited about this as the sort of last interaction between these two characters, was really exciting. And then this great part to play, great cast, Juno, just really exciting that we were going to get to kind of have our own little dance, the first dance. And so that was really fun. This kind of, the sort of military science kind of dynamic was really great. So there were just so many things, that I was really excited about. So thrilled. I played General Strickland, and so he runs this facility, which is this hyper secret facility that's by Area 51. And there's alien life down there. And so the facility is split in two between the military side and the scientific side. So they have, Dr. Payne sort of runs the more scientific side over the general auspice of the military, who kind of safeguard the area and secure the facility.
I'm glad they were separated,
Yeah, and then this is where the tension comes from.
But when you see the film, you'll see, I think you would, from a visual perspective, prefer to come and be on the science side. It looks like it would be a nicer place to hang out underground. The military side doesn't necessarily look desperately inviting.
Yeah, they've got nice equipment, there's sort of Bunsen burners.
We have green life down there. We've growing plants.
That's true, actually. There's plants down there. That was interesting. So we have this kind of, there's a sort of dynamic that's going on, because obviously your concern is more to do with the creatures themselves. My concern, I suppose, is more to do with humanity.
Yeah. Which is interesting, because they're both obviously important in their real world. It's like the idea of having this as a real concept, which I think was important for us too, to play this in a very grounded way of experiencing it within the Venom universe of Venom and Eddie are the wild ride, and they go on these insane adventures, and you see these extraordinary sequences with them. And so for us, it was this kind of, it was a human reality, very much so, and a human conflict going on. And I think, getting to play Dr. Payne was something exciting, because she's a scientist, but she's doing that because of something that happened when she was a child. She lost someone very dear to her who had always dreamt of understanding more about the great beyond, and going and exploring space and seeing what is out there. So she is doing this from a really emotionally invested place in her heart. And I think that does make her judgment questionable at moments, because I do think she prioritizes protecting symbiotes, aliens, and in a way that could be dangerous to humanity. But I think in those moments, she's leading with her heart, and that is an interesting conflict to have, because technically they both have a right to feel the way they're feeling.
Totally.
Yeah, and it was fun to get scenes like that too, especially with such an incredible actor like Chiwetel. Getting to really find these meaty scenes in this universe too was something really special, I thought.
I think it's such a wild ride, all of that stuff. And as Brock and Venom enter the water and we're sort of chasing them, and then you're just aware that that first of all, it's all happening in what feels like real time, and it's all practical. And I think that's what was really extraordinary about what we were doing, is that so much of it felt practical, felt sort of tactile, that you could, to your point, you could touch it, you could see it, you could, you could just really engage with all of these sets, with all of this action. And even in the last half of the film, when these big set, all of these explosions were explosions, you know what I mean? Like it was all sort of going off, and you feel like that's what is so engaging as well. That just adds another layer to everything, that you just sense that obviously there's VFX used, there's green screen used, but it's sort of integrated into something that is really based in practical sets and sort of practical
amazing
action,
stunts team.
Practical stunts, and it's really, really great.
Yeah. Also, that sequence is like an emotional one for your character too. You're losing people.
Yeah. I mean, that's the other layer, I suppose, of General Strickland, is that it's like, although he is this kind of military man and has that sort of stoicism and that kind of, that sort of energy that we're sort of used to seeing from the kind of military complex, he also is somebody who's very sort of emotional as well. He has empathy, and he's engaged in things that are sort of softer. He has a softer core, and that in a way makes him both, relatable, but also it kind of, you sort of understand why he pushes things potentially too far. I think it's a really fun ride. It's really fun. It's a really engaging, exhilarating story, but it's also the story about this friendship, and it's the friendship between Eddie and Venom, and we've seen that story, we've seen that friendship build over these three movies, and then here we are at this kind of moment where it all kind of, they have to make all of these decisions, and they're hard decisions, and so you end up kind of thinking that an audience can really see this kind of great superhero film and this really incredible relationship. You also go out and you're sort of reflecting on your own friendships and your own interpersonal dynamics, which is really great. Yeah,
the things that you would do to, take care of the people you love, I think is an important element, as well as seeing these crazy sequences. I mean, I'm excited for audiences to see Venom show off his dance skills and also become an array of exciting different creatures, animals. That's going to be fun. But yeah, it's both this incredible explosion of creativity and wild visuals, and then something really emotional and something that I think people can really relate to.